Welcome to the King and Chapman Show. It is Saturday, June 8th. I am Brent Chapman, and with me, as always, is the original one, Jimmy King.
What's up, B? How you doing today, my brother?
Tried really hard on that one, Jimmy. I got
No, I like that. It was
something
a
there
it was a
for you.
different octave. It was a little lower, but
Trying to go a little
still
lower.
had the E. The
Well,
E. We call that enthusiasm.
yeah, yesterday's show was a little high and I needed to go a little lower today.
I love
Jimmy,
it.
I've got to tell you, I have been reading this great book that just recently came out, Ronda Rousey, because I know we love to talk about fighting on the show.
Absolutely.
This is fantastic. Now, I want to tell everyone listening that my big thing with books is I don't actually read books. I listen to books. And I do a lot of autobiographies. You want to know why? Because you get to hear Ronda Rousey tell her story. And it's awesome. And she does the voices, and she, like, when she's talking about her coach, she does in person, she does, the accents. Dude, I'm telling you, her journey is incredible. And she's still really young and has a lot more left. But Jimmy, Ronda Rousey, she needs to come fight in the Brent Chapman Boxing Association. That's what I'm saying.
I'm pretty sure she'll take that check. But
Well,
interesting though, like you
this
said, we do
check
support.
is
Yeah, we do
zero.
support boxing, MMA. You know what I'm saying? Speaking of, got the great Muhammad Ali, Cassius Clay. His mama named him Clay, so I'm gonna call him Clay. That's the guy right there. But Rhonda, absolutely, she had a great following, great backing. She catapulted herself and the sport to a different level. She got a lot of viewers, a lot of eyes. Female athletes who are also tough fighters.
I'm not I'm
They
not
gave them
done with the
exposure.
book. Yeah, I'm not done yet, actually. I've got about an hour and a half left, but I've just chewed through it. It's so awesome, her journey. She was an amateur at judo, Olympic judo champion, right? And then transitioned into MMA. I'm
Uh-huh.
not actually to the point where she transitioned into the WWE and then back to the MMA. So I'm excited to hear about that. But just an incredible journey, and really the way that the thing that's great about Ronda Rousey and all the women MMA UFC fighters, right, are it was not a thing when Ronda Rousey
Yeah.
started fighting in MMA. There were very few women's promotions,
Mm-hmm.
period.
Mm-hmm.
And she was one of the first with a group of women's athletes that really set the trend and really created what we have today, which is,
Catapulted the sport.
in a lot of ways, women's MMA is just as I don't know. I actually, again, Jimmy, how many times do you hear me say this on the show? I actually prefer the women's MMA. The
Oh,
men's MMA, I feel like they're just rolling around on the pad. It's kind of a little like the women's are like they want to kill each
they
other,
going for
like
blood.
a good
Yeah,
fight. Yeah,
yeah.
these men are they're so strong and athletic. They're just kind of rolling around with each
But
other.
girls, it's kind of a misnomer. Girls are tough.
They
They
are
birth
super tough.
humans. Okay,
Yeah.
that's number one. Because I could guarantee you, if that was placed upon us, if that onus was placed upon us, it would be problems out here. I know a lot of guys, including myself, that would be like, you know what, not doing that. But that's how tough they are. You know what I
They
mean? They
are.
birth human beings and then they go off and knock your block off. Like,
That's
I can
right.
appreciate that. But what also is really impressive is that in the audio book, it's actually her voice. I would
Of
just
course.
assume it was like some British guy, some random British guy with a British
No.
voice. That's how I kind of see you rolling around in the car and your fresh Mustang,
No,
killing the
Jimmy.
audio with like a European voice instead of
No, no, Jimmy.
hers.
Jimmy, this is why I can't get enough of these books, is because it is the author reading. I mean, you look
Yeah,
behind
that's
me here.
awesome.
I've got a bunch of these. Um,
I'm about
uh,
to change my setting too, because I got books too. I got a bookshelf. You know what I'm
dude,
saying?
dude,
That's
Matthew
more conducive
McConaughey.
to what.
Matthew McConaughey's autobiography is fantastic, read
That's
by
awesome.
Molly Shannon, read by Molly
Okay.
Shannon. I mean,
Okay.
all these are read by the authors on the audiobooks.
Okay.
They're fantastic. It's them telling their story. It's great.
Yeah. Yeah. I
I
like it.
mean,
I like that. I like that.
just some British guy reading some novel is boring. But having Ronda Rousey tell you, I was pissed at her. I got her in the cage and I broke her elbow. It doesn't even sound like she's reading a book. It sounds like she's telling you, like we're at dinner and she's telling me her story. It's
That's
awesome. So
awesome.
people probably didn't join the show to listen to Brent and Jimmy Book Club. Although we could make
You
that
might have to start a book club.
yeah,
Absolutely.
the
The
Brent and Jimmy
Athletic
Book
Book Club.
Club, very special.
ABC.
Yeah. Jimmy, we are going to talk about sports today, and we are going to start with Caitlin Clark. You and I talked about this a little bit on the live show earlier in the week, but I felt it was such a big story that it was worth bringing up again. So last weekend, the Chicago Sky were playing against Caitlin Clark's Indiana Fever in the WNBA, and in between a play, Chicago Sky guard Kennedy Carter just off ball foul, just gave her one of these and knocked her down and cleaned her clock in the third quarter of the game. And, she went out of her way to throw a hip and a shoulder at her, and it clearly was not a basketball play. And then the following day, the WNBA came back and said, oh, okay, that was a flagrant one, unnecessary. They went on and won. So what? But the reason why I'm talking about it today, and I want to get your thought on it, is, you know, what is going on with Caitlin Clark, right? They really seem to dislike her, and we got some feedback from some legends like Janae Walker and others at the event. But I'd like for you to say on the show, talk about this is, what's the deal with Caitlin Clark? Why are they coming after her? Why are they targeting her? And, is this going to continue?
Yes, it's going to continue. And there really isn't okay. So the, I guess, unspoken rites of passage coming into the NBA, WNBA is the people who are there, already there, have been there, established themselves, even
Yep.
the rookies from last year. That's what they get. That's what happens.
Okay.
Candace Parker got it. Angel Reese got it. They pulled her hair last year. Nobody said anything when they pulled her down, pulled her hair. She fell to the ground. When she got up, she kept playing. And when
So
they
what
asked
you're
her about that
saying
play,
is this isn't special behavior. This is how we treat the high profile rookie, regardless if it's Sabrina Ionescu
it doesn't
or
matter.
Caitlin Clark or Angel
It's
Reese
physical.
or anybody.
Absolutely. It's physical.
Okay.
I had to remind people, like, I went through it. When I was a rookie and coming into the NBA, yeah, they're going to beat you up because they want to test you to see how tough you are. I know it sounds like kind of
Well,
almost
let me
child,
tell you,
but almost
you had
like
to be
kind of
you had to be
school.
you had to be pretty tough, Jimmy, to put on that Raptors uniform. Let me tell you.
Absolutely. The
That was
beautiful
that was
purple.
that
Yeah,
was
that
the
beautiful
hideous
purple with the
uniform.
with the dinosaur wagging his tail on front. Yeah, it was great.
The worst
You roll out of
uniform
the
in the
street, everybody
history.
respects you. Straight street cred
That's right.
with a Toronto Raptors purple dinosaur on your chest.
I got to get one of those jerseys.
Yeah,
Jimmy.
my welcome to the NBA moment. One of my welcome to the NBA moments was in practice in the summer, really leading up into my rookie year, playing with the Pistons, going to their facilities, and Rick Mahorn. Um, Shout out to Rick. I love Rick. That's my guy. You know Rick. Rick is physical. You know, he's an enforcer. Bad Boys, Washington Bullets, all of that. He picked me so hard, my head snapped. I mean, like my head was like way over here. And I turned around, I'm like, whoa, like, dog, I know what you do, but we not doing that here. Like you can't do. You can do that to them. You can't do that to me. So you got to establish yourself, and that's what they're doing. They're going to test her. She is the top dog. She is the number one overall pick, and she's talented. So they're going to do everything they can. If this is bothering her, then she's going to continue to get it. But when they realize it's not affecting her, and she's still going out there doing her thing, and the team starts winning, and she's putting up numbers, it's not going to be like that.
Now, I think that Janae Walker, an NBA future Hall of Famer at Central Arkansas University, she made a comment. She said she thinks, I believe she said, correct me if I'm wrong, that she thinks there's some jealousy from the players with Caitlin Clark, and that's part of a little bit of why she's getting this, is because she's walked in as a rookie and is bigger than them, and she's bringing fans to the arena, and she's making millions of dollars in advertisement of, far out achieving them and what they're making in their salaries as players. Do you think, A, that that's true? Do you think there is a sense of jealousy? And do you think, B, that that's fair to Caitlin? Not that fair matters, but I'm just asking the question, is that fair to Caitlin?
I think part of it's true, but I don't think that's totally true. I don't think that's like the main factor. I don't think they're jealous of her and all these things, because really what that means is that's validating their, you know, perks or the things that can elevate the game. Private planes, more money, sponsorships, corporate sponsorships, opportunities that they didn't have before. So I do think there is a little bit of that, but really, I'm just telling you from what I know. It's basketball. And when you walk into any arena and you're the new person, I don't care what your reputation is. This is a new day for you. I don't care what you did in the past. Today, we're going to really see how much you care to play, or if we can make you quit or make you cry. All of that. It's a part of the game. And I do get that jealousy, probably creeps in for some, and maybe more for others. But I think overall, it's just the matter of the rites of passage that she has to go through.
Jimmy, I really love your input on this, because I don't really have much to say other than the perspective of a fan watching all of this. And my perspective as a businessman and as a fan watching is like, hey, look, guys, the issue with the how I feel about women's basketball. I think it's fantastic. I think the game itself is great. I think it's better than watching men's basketball, except for the NBA finals, right? It's just so exciting. But other than that, I think it's just a better game. So I have a lot of, appreciation for that. But, I think that they need to understand your business sucks. You don't really make a lot of money. You don't get paid a lot of money. You're pretty much subsidized by the NBA, right? Uh, every opportunity that you can get to raise the profile of your company, of your organization that you work for, you guys should be joining hands to do that. Because if the WNBA takes off like I believe they deserve it to, they are going to then be making lots of money. Their target, their goal should be to be paid like the men in the NBA. Well, how do you get that? The men aren't paid like that because they're men. They're paid like that because people watch and pay hundreds and thousands, not hundreds of thousands, hundreds and thousands of dollars to go and watch these games and buy the jerseys and do all the things that are related to the NBA machine. True. That's what makes them high paid, is because fans pay. So the WNBA has somebody that fans want to watch. So you should be supporting that. Now, is this helpful? Yes, it actually is, because it's creating attention towards the league. But don't get it twisted, Jimmy. You like that language? Don't get it twisted. Caitlin Clark is, and they need 5 more Caitlin Clarks. And they've got Angel Reese, Flau J. Johnson, Brianna Stewart. The
Yes.
S1, Sabrina Ionescu. They got
Yeah.
great players. Brittany Griner. They got
Mm-hmm.
great players and stories in the WNBA, and they need to keep empowering and including each other to be great, and they'll have a great league. That's my final thought, Jimmy. How's that?
That's awesome. And that's a great take. And you're right. They should. But the reality is that as a competitor, like, do you think that Bird would have been like, okay, like me and Magic, we're just gonna, kind of
Or Bird
hug
and
each other?
Lampier.
No.
Bird and
It was
Lampier.
giving you
Bird and
everything
Rodman.
on that court. And that's what we love. That's why we tune
That's
in.
why we like it.
That's why we love it. We want to see them bump heads. We want to see them shoulder check. We want to, like that picture, Nate, you just showed of Caitlin bumping gums with what's her name? Yeah, look in her face. Look at that. There's nothing wrong with that. Both sides
I love it.
jawing, getting in each other's, face.
Jimmy,
That's what we want to see.
I keep
That's
saying
the
this, Jimmy.
competitive level that we want to see, and we want to see good basketball too.
Jimmy, I keep saying this. We got to stop talking about it. We need to go see a Dallas Wings game. We should go with my boys. They probably have a great time with that. Maybe go with Nancy. I'm sure Nancy goes to some games. It'd be a lot of fun. We should do that. But now we're going to pivot from the WNBA to Jimmy's favorite topic, Jimmy King on Ice.
On ice.
That's what I call it, Jimmy King on Ice. Here we go. The Stanley Cup Finals are getting started.
We all got our stars
and we got one of the picks right, Jimmy. You and I both said it would be the Florida Panthers versus the Dallas Stars. Unfortunately, that might have been a homer pick.
Yeah.
We believed, you and I both believe, that defense wins championships and that the all high-powered offense team, the 4 top scorers in the playoffs from one team, we thought that would get stifled. Well, it didn't. And the Oilers won and have advanced. So here we are. Now, I'm going to go back, Jimmy, to what we talked about with the Panthers and when we did the Western Conference final previews, which is, why are the Panthers here, right? Remember, they were very incredibly motivated. They had made it this far last year and fell short. And just like we're talking about the C's, Matthew Tkachuk, they bring it up all the time. We're on a journey. We're going to finish our journey. That grittiness, that focus. You and I said we believe that would lead them to the Stanley Cup Finals. Well, here they are. So now they get to go ahead and they get to try to make it for real. They get to actually win it this year. But they're going up against the best player in the league in Connor McDavid, a high-powered offense, and that goalie, Stuart Skinner, that we said sucked, didn't suck so bad against Dallas. And here we go, Jimmy. Who do you got? Do you got the Oilers or the Panthers?
Hold on, let me get my quarter out of my pocket. Flip this coin real quick. I'm going with the Panthers.
Oh, all right. All right.
Going with the Panthers.
Are you sticking
and not because of like any analytics or any players or the history of the organization. I'm just going with it because they have the same mascot as my high school, the Panthers. Just that simple.
Well, Jimmy, I will give some context to this then. Since we really need to bring our boy on, to talk hockey.
Absolutely.
Craig Ludwig,
experts, yeah.
We're not giving our listeners good hockey in-depth information here. But I will say that I'm going to say for Jimmy, I know what Jimmy's talking about. Jimmy thinks defense wins championships. Jimmy thinks that the team that's gritty and that wants it is going to fight. And this is the end of the year. They played 82 games, Jimmy. They fought. They've gone through long 6-7 game series to get here. This is about a will to win. And this is about a battle. And you've got 7 more games to fight for the championship. And do I think the Panthers are the most qualified team for that? Yes, I do. But dude, If you've ever seen me coach football, I'm the guy that throws the ball 80% of the time. I love offense. I love it. And Connor McDavid is great. So I'm actually going to go opposite you, Jimmy. And I'm going to say offense is going to win the Stanley Cup this year. And I'm going to save my other reason why, because I'm a little bitter. I'm a little upset, Jimmy, at Florida Panthers coach Chris Knobloch, but I'm going to save that for the last word. I've got this. It's brewing inside of me. But I'm going with the Edmonton Oilers against the Panthers in 5 games,
5.
Jimmy.
Well,
5.
damn, that's a sweep. That's a gentleman's sweep right there. So they're that high powered, huh? Going with the Edmonton Oilers with the high power offense, beating out the
I'm going
defense
for it.
again.
I'm breaking. I don't disagree with Jimmy's mindset on this. I'm going with this. And Jimmy, now we're going to go back to basketball, but we're not going to talk about the game on the court. We're going to talk about the game in the pack.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, pull that up. This card right here, Jimmy, is the 2003-2004 Upper Deck Ultimate Collection autographed Michael Jordan logo man card, numbered 1 of 1, Jimmy. Sold for $2.928 million with Golden Marketplace last Saturday night. The most for a Jordan card. Now, I want to tell you a little bit about this card, Jimmy, and then I want to get your thoughts. I want to get your thoughts on the card itself, and then I want to get your thoughts on trading cards in general, Jimmy. So this card is one card, and what it is it's a game used jersey with the logo patch off of the jersey on the card. Put that back up there again, Nate. The card received an authentic grade and a 10 perfect score. So here's the thing about this card, Jimmy, that it disappeared. It was let me read this. It was long lost. It was the first time this card was available at public auction, and its whereabouts have been unconfirmed until it surfaced with a card grader in 2022. And this is what William Golden, or Ken Golden, the CEO of the group, said. It is without a doubt the single best and single most valuable Michael Jordan card and most sought after that has ever been produced. So I got a couple things here, Jimmy. First of all, I grew up collecting baseball cards, and baseball is what baseball is today. But nothing beats the 1952 Topps Mickey Mantle rookie card, which is the most expensive card ever. $12.6 million, Jimmy.
Woo.
And nothing beats the 1986 Fleer Michael Jordan rookie card. Not as expensive as this one, but not some gimmick nonsense 1 of 1, which, by the way, now I'm going on a rant. I'm not even letting you talk, Jimmy. By the way, is horse manure, if you believe that was ever in a pack and anyone ever pulled that out in 2003. That card has been sitting off the press in some rich, probably in Mr. Upper Deck's house, and they found it in perfect condition, mind you. Trust me, if this was long lost, it wouldn't be in perfect condition. I saw what my dad did with cards in the 50s and the bike spokes. I saw what I did with cards in the 80s, jamming them in the plastic cases and throwing them around on the floor, right? There's no way this card just showed up in perfect condition. This card has been saved. No human being ever got it. No real fan or collector got it. And now some super wealthy dude just paid $3 million for it, Jimmy. That's the end of my rant, Jimmy. Just talk to me about cards.
It's marketing 101, right? You probably right. It probably wasn't Mr. Fleers or Lears, whoever. It was in their junk drawer, right? In the back, they pulled it out, with the keys and the scissors and like random like like candles for cakes and stuff like that, stuff like that. Just random items. And it could have been in perfect condition, and that's why it's $3 million. The most impressive thing to me is that people or a group of people have pooled their money or you know paid their hard-earned money for a card for $3 million.
Yeah.
I think I would be hard pressed to pay $300 for a card.
Jimmy,
That would
Jimmy,
like really make me scratch my
you
head.
and I, Jimmy, after we become the next Stephen A. Smith and whoever, right? Tony Kornheiser and Michael Wilbon. That's a good analogy. Don't say I ever compared us to PTI. Eerily similar. Uh, we're going to buy one of these cars, Jimmy, when we're
And resell
millionaires.
it.
I'm going to make you co-own with me the 1952 Mickey Mantle rookie card.
Oh, see,
That's
now
what
you're gonna
we're
have
going
us
to
going
do.
on wild goose chases. Like that.
Hey,
That's what you
Jimmy.
said. That's $12 million.
Yeah. Yes, Jimmy. Jimmy, here's the thing. I am going to create demand for the Jimmy King rookie Toronto Raptors card, 1 of 1, signed by Jimmy King with a
I'll tell
piece
you this.
of his
I tell you this.
trashy
We can
looking
afford
Raptors.
that now. We could buy that right now.
We can buy that right now. All right. All right. We
You
we
got
want
you
to
got
get the
two
demand
bills,
up.
three bills. I mean,
We,
dollar bills, not $100 bills. Got it.
Jimmy, now we are moving from trading cards. This has been an interesting show. Women's basketball, hockey, trading cards. There's a lot to cover this week. We're moving to Justin Jefferson. This dude is a freak. Well, he just
Beast.
signed a freaky contract. 4 years,
Yeah,
$140 million
absolutely.
extension, 110 million guaranteed. This makes him the highest paid non-quarterback in NFL history.
Mhm.
Negotiated by William Morris, WME, $88.7 million at signing. I need that. I could go buy my Mickey Mantle card if I had that, Jimmy. Uh, there were, I was a little surprised by this, Jimmy, because there was a lot of talk in the offseason about would he be traded. The Bills were like, hey,
Yep.
they traded Diggs. Should they go get Justin
Mhm.
Jefferson? He was
Mhm.
selected number 22 overall. He's had 392 catches, five
Mhm.
almost 6,000 yards receiving, which is ridiculous, and 30
Mhm.
touchdowns and three. Just think about that. The
Yeah.
record in a season of receiving yards is like 2,000 yards, and he's basically had that every year that he's
Yeah.
been in the league. He was the 2022 Offensive Player of the Year. This guy is a complete stud.
Mhm.
Jimmy, do you think he's the best receiver in the NFL and that he's deserving of this massive payday?
It was crazy is I randomly asked a group of friends of mine who were the best receivers in the league, and everybody had, different
Oh, they
guys.
did. What did you get
And
for answers?
nobody said Justin Jefferson, but
What'd you
me.
get? What'd you get for answers, Jimmy?
I got Tyreek.
Tyreek. Yep.
I even got CD Lamb. And
That's
Lamb is
that,
not
no,
even
that's a popular one. That's a
right, a
very
popular
popular.
one, but the best, I don't think CD's near the best.
No, I'm
But
saying that's a popular pick for being best receiver. I literally saw
mhm.
ESPN talking about that the other day.
Oh,
Is he the best
really?
receiver in the
Ah,
NFL?
okay,
Yeah.
okay. Well, then that
Yeah.
makes sense. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Who else they mentioned? They mentioned AJ Brown. They mentioned Amon Ra.
He's
But
good.
it was just a bunch of different
Yeah.
guys, right? They were all different, and that's why I appreciated it. But nobody said Justin Jefferson because I was actually asking the question about. Oh, I wanted to ask the question about how good is he? Because I was like, this guy is off the chain. So
Yeah.
I just randomly asked who's the best receiver in the league. And they threw out all these names. And I said, what about Justin Jefferson? This was at the beginning of last year. And they kind of like balked on it, like, oh yeah, he's all right, he's good. I
He's
even like Metcalf. I brought up Metcalf
yeah,
with
he's a freak.
Seattle. And so again, I guess it's kind of subjective. Well, it is subjective, but really subjective when you try to break it down. But he's definitely, to me, the best receiver in the league, and he deserves it. The things that he's done, and he's shown us that you know he steps into big moments and big games like no other that I've seen in the past 20 years.
Well, I can tell you that that like my expertise of knowledge set is really more so in the NFL side, and I do believe that it's hard for me really to pick a best receiver, but he is one of the best. I just really like Tyreek Hill. I just think that
Mm-hmm.
speed is incredible, and
Mm-hmm.
then how good of a route runner he is, and just how
Mm-hmm.
his awareness on the field. He's incredible. But Justin Jefferson is a highlight maker, and he is a
Right.
complete freak, and he is worth being the highest paid receiver in the NFL. Now, I will tell you this: Tyreek Hill is knocking on that
Oh, for
door
sure. Oh,
because it's
easily.
time for some re-up, baby.
But it's
It's
so
time
many.
it is time to recalibrate because you can't be making 30 mil a year when you got other guys that are just starting to like that Jalen Waddle deal. I mean, that's ridiculous, right? He's not even in
Oh
the
yeah.
conversation. So, Jimmy, we're moving along to a little foosball, not American football, but the original football.
That's right.
Kylian Mbappe. Now, I don't
Mm-hmm.
know if you watched the World Cup final when it was on a year or so ago, but that was one
Mm-hmm.
of the best finals ever, period, with Mbappe and
Mm-hmm.
Messi just going goal for goal for goal for goal back with each other
Mm-hmm.
and into
Mm-hmm.
overtime and into shootouts and just an incredible ending. But he is also signing a new contract, 15 million euros a year, and is also receiving a $150 million euro signing fee. At some point, Jimmy, we need to get a soccer expert on because I would love them to explain to me what all this transfer fees and free transfer from Paris Saint Germain and signing fees. They do the contracts much differently than we do in the United States, and they like loan players. And I don't really know how that works. So we got to get somebody on sometime that can walk us through that. But uh, actually, it's kind of funny. My brother-in-law played in the MLS and was drafted in the third round of the MLS. So maybe he could explain it to me. But yeah, Kylian Mbappe is getting paid, bro. So what do you think? You think that Kylian Mbappe to Real Madrid? He's going to Spain. He's already bought a nice new $1 million house in Spain. Former Madrid star Gareth
Already.
Bale's house. He's rolling it, bro.
That's right. I mean, again, like it's great when players get these exorbitant contracts. I know for the average person, you like, wow, how much money can these guys make? But again, it's the same thing like Caitlin Clark. It's the same thing with Michael Jordan. It's the same thing with Justin um, Jefferson. It's what the market dictates, and if they can cut that check and pay you, they're clearly making a lot more money, or whatever
Yeah,
business
exactly.
model or that they have works. And yeah, so kudos to him. I mean, 16.2 million American, 15
Yeah.
euros is that's wonderful, and that's
Oh,
after
give me with
taxes.
the on the fly conversion. Who needs ChatGPT when I got Jimmy King AI? He's doing conversions for me. Yeah, Jimmy, I think Kylian Mbappe is a great player. I know that we had a discussion the other day about the greatest soccer player of all time, and we were talking Messi and Ronaldo and Pele and Maradona. But Mbappe is only 25 years old. So, Jimmy, when we're doing this over there on the ESPN or the Fox Sports in 10 years with our show celebrating our 10th anniversary, we might be talking about Kylian Mbappe being the greatest player of all time. We'll
Of
see if
all
he can
time.
get some World Cup wins and some Premier League championships and all this other stuff. So, Jimmy, we are going to wrap up our show with some softball talk. The
All right.
Oklahoma University softball team won its record fourth straight NCAA
That's
championship, 8-4 against the University of Texas women's softball team. Wow.
Mhm.
That is their 8th title overall, all under the guidance of Coach Patty Gasso, and moved into a tie with Arizona for the second most championships ever behind UCLA's 12. Wow, Jimmy, are you impressed by this softball four-peat?
Absolutely. I'm totally impressed. You know how hard it is to win one and to go back to back to back to back is incredible. And those kids that that have been there all 4 years or they're coming in, leaving out, it sets the standard of what to expect. I mean, obviously, or I won't say obviously, but you probably the probability of winning two in a row or three in a row, and like I said, even one is tough. So for whatever they got going, whatever mojo, whatever lightning they trapped in the bottle that they're using right now, kudos to them, is working.
I'll tell you
But
what they're using. They're using NIL and the transfer portal. They got last year. They had the Big Ten Player of they had the Big Ten Player of the Year transfer for her grad year, and she just basically struck out everybody, and they won another national championship. So, man,
what's wrong with that? It's
they're
about
just, oh, I'm
recruiting,
not
right?
hating.
That's
I'm
the
just
game.
saying.
Everybody.
I'm
I
not
know.
hating. I'm just saying.
No, I know.
With
I
these
know you're
other
not. I'm just
teams,
saying there's nothing wrong with that. Like that's
no,
the name of the game.
they're using the system to their advantage, and they are very successful. But
Absolutely.
let's be honest, this four-peat was before NIL and before transfer portal. So when this started, so they're a successful program. This Coach Gasso has won 8 championships. So I'm just saying that it does help when you can go out and get the best player and get the best hitter from another school to win a national championship, right? But yes, huge
Absolutely.
props to OU softball. Totally cool. And now, Jimmy, final thoughts on the show. I have a final thought, but I'm going to save it for the end because I'm really worked up about this, Jimmy. But I'm going to start with you.
All
What do
right.
you got? What's the king last word? The King's Creed.
My King's Creed is this. Let me roll out my scroll. And it says that whoever paid $2.9 million for the Michael Jordan card that was sitting up in somebody's junk drawer got duped. That's my hot take. I believe that there's probably a good clone, and they're passing it on, and just like, you know what, we're gonna get a nice sucker out here. Let's see how high we could drive the price. I think that's what it is. That's my
The
hot take
sucker is
for the Jordan card.
some guy took that card off the line, an executive at the company, locked it up in a safe and said, we're going to, because they promote these cards. So they promoted this card,
Right.
this one, no one ever got it. Where is it? Where is it? Well, it never
Right.
went into
Right.
circulation,
Where is it?
obviously. And then 20 years later, it shows up at an auction mysteriously because clearly an employee of the
Right.
company had it all this time, waited for the value to go up over time, and then cashed in. So, Jimmy, I agree with you. That's not the type of card I would buy if I was going to spend millions. I would buy something like the Mickey Mantle rookie or even the Michael Jordan, the ones that were like really special, right? Something that
Or
had some
something,
meaning
right?
to
Or
it.
something that even had an action to it.
Not
It just has
not
Michael
some
holding the
gimmo,
ball. It
not
doesn't even
some
look like
gimmick
he's
card. I'm
dribbling.
with So,
Yeah, or
Jimmy,
shooting or dunking or anything.
my last word, Jimmy, is this. Florida Panthers coach Chris Knobloch pointed out that just having experience on the big stage doesn't ensure success, right? Hey, we were here last year. Just because we were here last year doesn't mean we're going to win this year. But he didn't
No.
stop there, Jimmy. He had to take out a big stick, sharpen it up real tight, and jam it right into the side of Bill's Mafia. The Buffalo Bills went to 4 Super Bowls, and that didn't help them win, did it? I want
That's
the
why you have
Panthers.
the beef.
I'm changing my prediction. No longer a gentleman's sweep. I want a sweep. I want 4-0. I want Connor McDavid to score 59 goals. I want them to cry on the ice. You have no
This
right
is
to
why
grab
I
it up.
love you. You are a loyalist. You are loyal to your bills. You don't let
Huh?
nobody mess with your bills. They can't even mention your bills and talk
Nobody
about
was
your
messing with
bills.
him. Bill's Mafia doesn't give a flying hoot about the Florida Panthers. Why do they need to slide
how,
way
how deep?
across?
How deep did the steak go this time? Like I
Oh,
know you was
this
probably
guy.
chilling at home, and then you
This
heard the sound bite.
guy.
And you was like, "Wait, what?"
Chris Knobloch, you are not welcome on the King and Chapman Show. Rob Pelinka, you are welcome. Chris Knobloch, you are not welcome on the King and Chapman Show. That's what I have to say. And that is it for today's show. Hope
Hey,
everyone
I'm
has a
riding.
great.
I'm riding with my dog. I'm with you, B.
Thank you, Jimmy. Everyone have a great weekend. We will see you on Monday. Enjoy Mavs Celtics Game 2. Peace.
Mwah.